quorum.
I'd like to call the Superstition Vista Community Facility District No.1 meeting to order. Roll call.
Chairman Wilson,
Here.
Vice Chairman Schroeder,
Here.
Board Member Cross,
Here.
Board Member Heck,
Here.
Board Member Johnson,
Here.
Board Member Nesser,
Present.
Board Member Soller.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Consideration of approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
Your Honor.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Board Member Soller,
Yes.
Vice Chair Schroeder,
Yes.
Board Member Nesser,
Yes.
Board Member Cross,
Yes.
Board Member Heck,
Yes.
Board Member Johnson,
Yes.
Chairman Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, presentation, discuss, and consideration of resolution number 2023-003, SVCFD No.1. Leslie.
I'm actually just going to turn this over to our bond counsel for the CFD tonight.
Okay.
Is that from Greenberg Tard?
Thanks, Leslie. Chairman, Board, good evening. Zach Sakis with Greenberg Traurig, serving as Special District Counsel. If acceptable to the Board, I'll go through items 2, 3, and 4 in one shot and then let you all work through them.
Okay.
So items 2, 3, and 4 are related to the annual budget approval for the Superstition Vistas CFD No.1. You'll recall the CFD is its own political subdivision under state law, separate and apart from the city, and therefore it needs to adopt a budget on an annual basis. So item number 2 is the tentative budget for your consideration. If the tentative budget is approved, the next step that you would do in item 3 is conduct a public hearing for any interested members of the public to comment on the tentative budget. And then assuming no changes or alterations to the tentative budget, that would become the final budget if you pass item number 4, the resolution under item number 4. In the event that there are changes or other considerations to the tentative budget, we could table item number 4 to a future meeting. Item number 2 has to be completed by July 15th. In the event you don't like that item, we'd have to come back by July 15th. Item number 4, we'd have to come back prior to when the city finalizes its tax levy under the statute. So I think that would be middle of July or so, maybe. So again, items 2, 3, and 4, annual budget for SVCFD No.1. I'm happy to answer any questions. Sources of revenue, planned expenses.
Any questions?
No.
No?
Thank you.
Okay. So we'll just go down each one individually for a motion. So do I have a motion for,
Your Honor, it's a public hearing.
oh, it is public hearing? Okay. So is anyone from the public that'd like to speak?
Come on down.
I see.
And can we combine those, a public hearing for 2, 3, and 4, Joel?
So
I will defer to Zach. I don't know if he wants to do that separately, but it's up to Zach.
Yeah, sorry to be no fun, Chairman, Board. So under the statute, please consider each item separately. So we would consider item number 2 first. If that passes, then open the public hearing. And then once the public hearings conclude, then please consider item number 4. That's what they require under the statute.
Okay. So do I have a motion for number 2, which is the consideration of the resolution?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that resolution number 2023-003, SVCFD No.1, a resolution of the District Board of Superstition Vistas Community Facility District No.1, approving the proposed district budget for FY 2023 and 2024, and ordering a hearing on such budget as approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Board Member Nesser,
Yes.
Board Member Johnson,
Yes.
Board Member Cross,
Yes.
Board Member Heck,
Yes.
Board Member Soller,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Schroeder,
Yes.
Chairman Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, now
Public hearing.
I have a public hearing. Would anyone like to speak on these items, which is number 3, the district budget, proposed district budget? And again, I don't see anyone moving. So I will close the public hearing. Should we be voting on this one separate? No, we can combine this, okay. So let's move to number 4, presentation, discussion of the resolution number 2023-04 for the SVCFD No.1, adopting the budget. Any more discussion among the board? And so do I have a motion for approval?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that resolution number 2023-004, SVCFD No.1, a resolution of the District Board of Superstition Vistas Community Facility District No.1, adopt the district's budget for fiscal year 2023/24 and levying a tax to be approved.
Second.
Hold on a sec. Did you open the public meeting?
No.
A public hearing? I don't think you did.
Joel,
Did I miss that?
that was item number 3. So we did we adopted the tentative, then we opened a public hearing
Okay.
on
I'm
the
sorry.
tentative.
We did. Yeah,
Okay,
I got it.
Sorry about that.
all right. Oh, it's not in my notes, so,
You're not gonna make me read it again, are you?
No, you're not. There was a second by
There's a
Tess.
second.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, now I'll ask for a roll call.
Board Member Heck,
Yes.
Board Member Cross,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Schroeder,
Yes.
Board Member Nesser,
Yes.
Board Member Johnson,
Yes.
Board Member Soller,
Yes.
Chairman Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, number 5, this is a public hearing regarding the Superstition Vistas Community Facilities District No.1, Assessment District No.1. The district engineer has reported to this board that will work relating to the project that has been completed in accordance with the approval plans and specification. Now is the time for the board to receive public comment on assessments, any objections to the previous proceedings related to the assessment, or any claims the work has not been performed. This is the final opportunity for objections as to errors, informalities, irregularities relating to the assessed District No.1 proceedings and the assessment. I will now open it up to the public. And I see no one moving. I will now close the public hearing. There's no motion required. All right, number 6, presentation, discussion for consideration of resolution number 2023-005, SVCFD No.1, a resolution of the District of the Superstition Vistas Community Facilities District No.1, determining that the work has been completed in accordance with the approved plans and specifications, ordering the collection of the assessment in Assessment District No.1. Leslie.
Your Honor, we'll just go ahead and invite Zach up to walk us through that.
Okay.
Chairman, Board, Zach Sakis with Greenberg Trorg. I was remiss when I came up last, glad you're feeling better from when I saw y'all last time on May 16th.
Right.
So when I was here last time on May 16th, what did we do in connection with this bond issuance? We looked at a feasibility report relating to the potential project and how the individual 400 lots would each be assessed, and the eventual homeowners will repay assessments over time to repay the bonds. We also sort of granted authority for the district staff to go forth and establish the assessment against each of the lots. So in the interim time from the May 16th meeting to today, the assessment has been recorded against each of the 400 lots that will be assessed. And as we just conducted the final assessment hearing, any current landowner with an interest in one of the lots could have stepped forward and contested any portion of formation of the assessment district and establishment of the assessment. D.R. Horton is the sole owner of all 400 lots as of today, and they did not object to anything. So item 5 is concluding that, okay, nobody showed up to the hearing, the assessments are established as final, and approving that, should you so decide to consider and approve that. Item number 6, then, we transition to the authorizing the district to sells special assessment bonds. So again, under the CFD statutes, the two types of bonds that this particular community facilities district is able to sell that we've agreed to with the developer is a general obligation bond, which is repaid with property taxes, or what we're doing tonight, a special assessment bond, which again is an individual assessment against a particular lot. And so the homeowner can pay in portions over time, or the homeowner can choose to prepay on set dates throughout any year. So maybe somebody pays for a couple years and then decides to pay off the balance. That'll be at the choice of the homeowner. The bonds are limited by the total assessment amount, which is $5,000 per lot, times the number of assessed lots, which is 400 lots. So we have a not to exceed amount of $2 million in bonds that we're going to sell. And again, we're paying for a street that will serve the assessed lots. One of the things that we look at in this type of financing is ensuring that the project that we are constructing and financing has a particular benefit that you can trace to the lot that is assessed, because that way you're not having somebody possibly paying for public infrastructure that they're never going to use. So that's why there's a specific benefit tied to a specific assessment amount on each individual lot. And then with that, happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, there's a lot of bond lawyer stuff in there about method of sale and how the bonds will be transacted post-closing. So I know it's a little bit lengthy, but happy to answer any questions.
Your Honor.
Yes?
So is that a lien on the property, the house itself? So if the individual sells the home, the bond gets paid off, or that portion of it, their share of it gets paid off with that sale, so that the next person that occupies the home does not incur or have that bond, right?
Chairman, Board, great question. So yes, it's a lien against each individual lot, and so we saw this a lot in 21, 22, when mortgage rates dropped a lot. People would refinance their home, and maybe they'd pay it off then, or if folks were selling their home to they buy it initially from D.R. Horton. D.R. Horton's not going to prepay it because they're trying to, they're having that stay for the homeowner. But often when a second homeowner purchases the home, a lot of times they do choose to prepay it in full at that time. And some don't, but many choose to prepay it at that time when they're purchasing the home.
Thank you.
So what if they don't pay? So what happens? And so what if they sell the house? I mean, is there a lien so that does it, when the house sold, then it gets paid to the bondholder? How's that work?
Chairman, Board, let me make sure I understood District Council's question. If the question is, the lien runs with the land. So you could have somebody that owns the house for 15 years, they sell it to a second owner, and that second owner pays the remaining 10 years that are left on the assessment. It doesn't restart or anything with a second owner. The assessment amount is $5,000 plus an interest component, and then the county treasurer typically charges a collection fee, and you pay that on an annual basis over time.
What if the owner didn't pay, though? That's my question. So what would happen?
So there's a few safeguards in place. If there's a homeowner who's delinquent on their assessment payments, the first thing, what we authorize under the resolution is there is a reserve fund that the district could look to ensure there was no default or missed payment on the bonds. So we're taking a portion of the money from the bonds and we're putting it away in a reserve fund. So in the event there's slow payers or delinquent payers on the assessments, we can apply that money.
Your Honor, is that tied to escrow, to where it's taken out on a twice-a-year payment, or is it set up on a monthly payment plan from the individual?
So the assessment collection period is semi-annual. So there's 2 collection periods per year. We are working with the county where the county will collect it with your regular property taxes. So to the extent you have one of these homeowners has a mortgage on their home, as you pay a monthly escrow portion of your mortgage payment, that would go to your mortgage company or servicer, and then that servicer, when they pay it over to the county, it would be included.
It would be paid as part of escrow.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I'd say that's probably 90, that is, to District Council's point, that is a good thing, because that makes collections very streamlined.
Yep.
In the event that somebody is delinquent for a prolonged period. Under the statutes, there is a foreclosure ability where the district potentially would auction the unpaid assessment amount to investors that are interested in purchasing these unpaid assessments. And then if the homeowner did not catch up on the payments over time, the home would be transferred and sold to the investor. In my experience of doing this for a little less than 20 years, I've had that happen one time, and it was the owner's choice. It was actually a large commercial property, and it was the owner's choice to continue to not pay, and they knew that was the remedy.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'm no mortgage person, but if the county is collecting this, how could anybody become delinquent by just not paying to the county? Is that?
Because you don't have to go and set it up through escrow. You can pay your taxes.
Oh,
out
it's
of
not
pocket.
automatic?
You don't have to have it that way. Most mortgages do it that way. But you have a choice when you buy a house to pay your taxes separately.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Chairman,
All right.
that's correct. So to the extent, the other one we see sometimes are if folks, if this is, maybe if they're snowbirds and they're here part of the time, sometimes they'll purchase the home with cash. And in that case, they wouldn't have a mortgage. And then they would get a bill from the county treasurer twice a year to pay their property taxes. But if they're in Minnesota or Illinois or Indiana and not here, they might not see that bill. So sometimes we see that and we figure out a way to contact them and they catch up.
So I'm the second purchaser of the home. He sells me his house, and there's still $3,000 left on it. What am I going to have to sign that puts me on the hook for the other $3,000? Because if he's not paying it off himself, and it's not a completely done deal, I'm buying a house from this individual. Who else am I having to make an agreement with before I can legally take possession of the lot?
Chairman, Board, so the question is, if there's a portion of the assessment unpaid for that second owner that's taking title, what are those steps? Is that correct? So again, the lien and assessment run with the land. So under the statute, there's no additional step for that second owner where they have to make any sort of agreement or otherwise sign anything else with the district to take over that assessment. The lot would be transferred with the existing encumbrance of the assessment, and they would go in to pay it off. Now, with respect to disclosure, if somebody's buying a home in this district, there's all sorts of disclosures that they'll receive, both from D.R. Horton and then likely from that first owner that's then selling to the second owner, disclosing the existence of the CFD and other and the additional property taxes and the existence of the assessment. From experience, what I typically see on the second owner is when they go to get their mortgage, the mortgage company, because this lien under the statute has priority over the mortgage, most often the mortgage company says, it's $3,000, we're gonna roll that amount into your mortgage to buy the home, and at that point, the assessment is prepaid.
Okay.
So the lien shows up.
The
when
lien
someone
shows up on
buys
the
a-
title report, yes.
So when, the title report should show it. And if the title report doesn't, then there's title insurance that's supposed to cover that, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else? Okay. Do I have a motion?
Your Honor,
Yes.
or
Yes.
Mr. Chairman. I moved that resolution number 2023-005, SVCFD No.1, a resolution of the Board of Directors of Superstition Vistas Community Facilities District No.1, approving the assessment and the proceedings heretofore had and taken for the Superstition Vistas Community Facilities District No.1, Assessment District No.1, determining the work has been completed in accordance with the plans and specifications, and ordering the collection of the amount assessed be approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call.
Board Member Cross?
Yes.
Board Member Heck?
Yes.
Board Member Johnson?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Schroeder?
Yes.
Board Member Nesser?
Yes.
Board Member Soller?
Yes.
Chairman Wilson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Excuse me. Presentation, discussion, consideration, and resolution number 2023-006, SVCFD No.1, a resolution of the District Board of Superstition Vistas Community Facilities District No.1, authorizing and issuing the district's assessment District No.1 Special Assessment Bonds Series 2023, approving the form and authorizing the execution and delivery of related documents, awarding the bonds to the purchaser, appointing a register, transfer agent, and payment agent for the bonds, authorizing and taking of other actions securing the payment of the relating to the bonds, and adopting written policies and procedures for tax-advantaged obligations and procedures for compliance with continuing disclosures undertaking. Leslie again?
We'll just invite Zach up unless Leslie has anything specific to say. Yeah, come on up, Zach.
Chairman, Board, most of the discussion we had relating to the last item covered this item, but this is, item 7 is the item, this is why I'm a bond attorney and not a banker, because I can't count, and apparently, I think I said 5 and 6 previously, but it was 5, 6, and 7. So we discussed, this is the resolution authorizing the bond issuance and provides the necessary authority to district staff to complete the sale and close the transaction. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any discussion among the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
What?
Public hearing?
Oh, public hearing.
This is a public hearing?
We do not need a public hearing on this item.
Okay,
It's just that we're following a specific order of these items, and listing it last under the public hearing was what made sense.
okay. Oh, do I have a motion now?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I move that resolution number 2023-006, SVCFD No.1, resolution of the Board of Directors of the Superstition Vistas Community Facilities District No.1, authorizing the issuance of its assessment District No.1 Special Assessment Bonds, Series 2023, in the aggregate original principal amount of not to exceed $2 million, approving the form and authorizing the execution and delivery of a bond registrar, transfer agent and paying agent contract, a purchase contract relating to the bonds, a continuing disclosure undertaking, and certain other documents securing the payment of or relating to the bonds, ratifying and approving a preliminary official statement relating to the bonds, approving a final official statement relating to the bonds, awarding the bonds to the purchaser thereof, appointing a registrar, transfer agent, and paying agent for the bonds, authorizing the taking of other actions, securing the payment of and relating to the bonds, and adopting written policies and procedures for tax-advantaged obligations and procedures for compliance with continuing disclosure undertakings be approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call.
Board Member Cross?
Yes.
Board Member Nesser?
Yes.
Board Member Soller?
Yes.
Board Member Johnson?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Schroeder?
Yes.
Board Member Heck?
Yes.
Chairman Wilson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, so I can now adjourn District
This one.
1's meeting, and now I will call to the order the Superstition Vistas Community Facilities District's #2 meeting to order. Roll call.
Chairman Wilson?
Here.
Vice Chairman Schroeder?
Here.
Board Member Cross?
Here.
Board Member Heck?
Here.
Board Member Johnson?
Here.
Board Member Nesser?
Present.
Board Member Soller?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Consideration and approval of minutes of the regular meeting of September 20th, 22. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Good, good.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Board Member Soller?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Schroeder?
Yes.
Board Member Nesser?
Yes.
Board Member Cross?
Yes.
Board Member Heck?
Yes.
Board Member Johnson,
Yes.
Chairman Wilson. Chairman Wilson,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, so I'm going to ask question 2, 3, and 4 can all be joined together?
Yep.
Is that correct? Okay.
And the-
No.
No, they have to be
Uh-oh.
separate.
Now, this will be similar to the previous district where we will take each one in turn and we'll have the public hearing in between. So the first one is the tentative, and then we'll do the public hearing, and then we'll do an adoption.
Okay. So, presentation, discussion, and consideration of resolution number 2023-001, SVCFD number 2, approving the district's budget for fiscal year 2023-2024, ordering a hearing on and a calling for a public testimony on the district budget. Leslie? Or-
So this first one is just for approval of the tentative district budget. And then you can open it up for a public hearing if anybody wants to comment on it.
Okay.
So you'd first have a motion to approve this resolution number.
So do we have any discussion from among the board? Seeing none, so do I have a motion for the resolution number 2023-001?
Your
Mr.
Honor.
Chair.
Yes.
I move that resolution number 2023-001, SVCFD number 2, a resolution of the District Board of Superstition Vistas Community Facilities District number 2, approving the proposed district budget for fiscal year 2023-2024, and ordering a hearing on such budget as approved be approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call?
I'm sorry, who did the second?
I did.
Thank you. Board Member Nesser,
Yes.
Board Member Johnson,
Yes.
Board Member Cross,
Yes.
Board Member Heck,
Yes.
Board Member Soller,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Schroeder,
Yes.
Chairman Wilson,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, this is a public hearing regarding the proposed district budget for fiscal year 2023-24. I will now open the public hearing. Would anyone like to speak on this item? And again, I see a whole pile of movement, right? I will now close the public hearing. And there's no motion on this item. All right, presentation and discussion and consideration of resolution number 2023-002, SVCFD number 2, adopting this district's budget for fiscal year 2023-24 and ordering a tax levy. Leslie?
Just a motion to approve the tentative budget, the resolution for the tentative budget?
This is the final budget.
Yeah, final budget.
Final budget.
Okay, any discussion from the board? See no movement. Do I have a motion?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that resolution number 2023-002, SVCFD number 2, a resolution of the District Board of Superstition Vistas Community Facility District number 2, adopting the district budget for fiscal year 2023 and 2024, and levying a tax be approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call?
Board Member Cross,
Yes.
Board Member Nesser,
Yes.
Board Member Soller,
Yes.
Board Member Johnson,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Schroeder,
Yes.
Board Member Heck,
Yes.
Chairman Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes, Your Honor.
Okay, so we're done with our special meetings. Thank you. Adjourned.